Hi there, Loy Machedo speaking to you from loymachedo.com. Who is Loy Machedo? Think Personal Branding. Okay, we have Emirati news, local shokal, okay, from UAE. What it says here is dirhams 20,000 fine for falsifying employment data of Emiratis. Earlier, the country, that is UAE, said all establishment with 50 or more employees must raise current Emiratization rates by 2% annually. One way, I've spoken to a couple of my business friends, one way to circumvent this rule is make sure instead of 50 employees, you have 48 or 49. So then you don't have to employ Emiratis. But obviously, the government is also very smart. They'll say, okay, you have nearly 50. So then they reduce it even further. Now, why is it that these employers are not employing Emiratis? Okay, that's one question. And second one is, why are they falsifying? Now, I've made videos of this before, where I've spoken about Emiratis being lazy. Not all, but majority. Like, for example, Indians. When you say Indians, there are 1 billion. So when you take commonalities, common features, common behavior patterns, it's not all Indians. It's a few. Like, for example, when you say Indians eat curry, smelly food, which is very strong. It's a reality. It's not that... it'll sound ridiculous to say Indian eat pizza. No, Indian don't eat pizza. Okay. So in the same way, there are a couple of common characteristics of Emiratis, locals. And one of them is, some of them, very high salaries. They definitely need very high salaries. And this has come because the country has made it a habit. We know at the lowest rung of the ladder is Africans, Bangladeshis, Sri Lankans. The lowest rung of the ladder, Pakistanis. Next level is Indians. Okay, that forms a major chunk. Then on top of that is South African whites. Then on top of that is Australians. Then on top of that is, Europeans. Then on top of that is, let's say, British Americans, nearly. Then on top of that is local shokal. Okay. The Arab-speaking world, let's say Egyptians, the Syrians and all that, they get sandwiched somewhere between, let's say, Indians and below. Okay. Lebanese were slightly higher, but after their country got destroyed, now it's come lower. Okay. One of the main reasons, you can tell me if I'm wrong. Okay. Feel free to tell me if I'm wrong. And one of the key reasons why before people who spoke Arabic used to get paid more is because that time English was not very rampant. Arabic was more important. But today, Emiratis or even Arab speaking, they are very well versed with English, which is unfortunate. Arabs are well versed with English, but non-Arabs are not well versed with Arabic. Okay. So there is still a market for people who speak fluent Arabic. And always remember this. When you as an expat, you speak that local language, there is that bonding that takes place. Anyway, that is different. Now, with regards to Emiratis, I've made videos previously. You can just check Loy Machedo, Emiratis or locals or UAE citizens. You'll get those previous videos, so I don't want to speak on that. Now, I have been in touch with quite a number of Emiratis, quite in touch. It's surprising how they approach me. And some of them, I used to always think that almost all of them would hate me. Well, it seems that some of them, very few, don't hate me. They get pissed off with the fact that I do highlight some of the negative aspects about UAE, like inflation, like life is not that easy, like locals are not having it easy. So yeah, they relate. But now, having spoken to these educated Emiratis, having spoken to Emiratis who are really innovators, who work hard, and also people who have worked with Emiratis, I have seen both sides of the argument. Now, Emiratis, number one, which we have to agree is they will not work for small salaries. It's just not going to happen. It's like saying, it's like America is accepting to be, second best or third best in the political realm. It's never going to happen. So Emiratis also do not want to work for lower salaries. It's their country. They want high salaries. And UAE has made them accustomed to this reality. Okay, that's number one. And second one, obviously, my country, I should get first preference. In fact, I've seen some Emiratis who have posted, Oh, we are Emirati, it's our country. Why should the HR be an expat taking our interview? My country, I have to take your permission? What the hell? I've seen those videos also. They are there, but they speak in Arabic. Okay. So that sense of entitlement is there. The second thing is, Emiratis have no fear because it's their country. They can, you're an expatriate. They can tell you, bugger off. They're going to get the fuck out of here. They don't need a visa. It's their country. So there's no fear. An Indian or Pakistani or Sri Lankan or Filipino, you can tell them, I will cancel your visa. You'll have to go back to your country. That fear is there. Sheesh, I will lose everything. I will lose my job. I'll have to go back home. Then I'll have to come and struggle all over again. So that fear is there. I mean, are you going to scare an Emirati and tell him, I'm going to cancel your visa, and he's going, what visa? Get the hell out of here. Okay. Number 3, it's very simple. Emiratis are being supported by the UAE government. So if, let's say you take a bad apple, not a nice Emirati guy, you take a Emirati who is slightly egoistic. And let's say things are not working out, and he says, I'm sorry, no, Baba, Yahi, things are not working out. If he gets pissed off, he goes to the labor or someone. This guy from India, from Pakistan, he said, fuck you to all local. Ah, you said, fuck you. Shuendak, we will we'll put a camel bamboo up his, they can make your life miserable. See, it's everywhere, okay? If in India, let's say a foreigner were to ill-treat an Indian would rally up all these buggers and, idiots and say, he spoke bad about India, he spoke bad about Hinduism, BJP and the Indian flag, and, you get mad people who will just do something. Thankfully, in Dubai, it's not like that, or UAE, it's not like that. Okay. The next one is Emiratis also, they want flexible working hours. See, Emiratis who are really ambitious, who are really career focused, they want to work for the best organizations in the world. There are Emiratis who are ambitious, who are hardworking, who are dynamic, who are enterprising. There are many, not just few. And that is why the government really wants to hone this talent. But these people are not going to work in small-time companies. They're not going to work in a stationery shop. They're not going to work in a audiovisual small company with 10 people. They're not going to work in a, let's say, trading business where you have to sell tea, coffee, and this and that. Come on, man. Have you ever seen a local Emirati who is doing sales job? Sir, will you buy this? Come on. Let's face it. It's their country. They're not going to work in meager jobs. Even the guy who's working in, let's say, Jabal Ali Free Zone or any of the government, even stamping, putting stamp. This was a common statement that even the guy who puts stamp, if he's Emirati, 7,000, 8,000, that is $2,000 just for stamp. So I'm not hating on them. It's their country. The country loves them. The country takes care of them. But having said that, it's not all hunky-dory and roses for Emiratis. I'll give you a few examples which some of my Emirati friends have said. Like, for example, medical care is free for Emiratis, okay? And they also get an allowance. Now, you will be under the impression that Emirati goes into a VIP hospital and he gets world-class treatment. Let me tell you, this Emirati who spoke to me, his family member, they are not, they're not living hand to mouth. They are living comfortably. But when they went for this free service, they were made to wait for 3-4 hours, and then the delay, then go to this hospital, that hospital, so much of headache he had to go through. And I was kind of surprised because the guy is in touch with me. He doesn't tell me lies. He says, Loy, it's not that easy for me, man. Then there was another Emirati. He has a 4-wheel drive. Okay, he has 2-3 vehicles. He told me, I'm finding it so difficult to travel with my 4-wheel drive. Instead, I'm taking a Japanese car. Now, you might laugh and say, first world problems, he can't take his life. No, it does impact their lives in some way or another, right? And then, free housing. We think free housing, wow, he's going to get a house near Burj Khalifa or Burj Al Arab or, in the prime. No, the free housing that they're getting is some far off bloody deserted place where traveling itself is maybe 2-3 hours. Maybe there's nobody there. Okay, but, like you say, beggars can't be choosers. So it's not all hunky-dory. Now, given all these issues and problems that Emiratis have, on top of this, The UAE government is saying, we can't employ all the Emiratis. You guys help us out. Take them. But now here's the problem. These small-time companies or these medium-sized companies, 50 employees, whatever, maybe they're living hand to mouth. Maybe they're living with, sheesh, PDCs, I'm not getting the payment on time. Maybe they are worried about, will they have business? Oh, business is not recovered so well. Payment is not there in the market. Oh, projects are being cancelled. So they have 110 things to worry about. And then top of that, oh, now we have to take an Emirati. I mean, the HR guy itself, to find, just imagine, Indians, the population is the largest. To find the right Indians itself is becoming hard. They say, no, Indians, you go even to the moon, you'll find one Indian selling tea there. Some people have this joke, Indians multiply like cockroaches or rats. By the way, if you're first time, I'm an Indian passport holder, so don't say racism and all that. Okay. Can't make out from the accent. Okay. The tattoos, forget. Okay. So Indians having an excess supply of Indians, they're not getting the right Indians. Then Emiratis who form hardly 10% of the population, you think it's easy to find them? So what position will they offer? They might offer receptionist or they might offer something small. And they'll say, okay, you come 5 days a week. But then if this guy doesn't follow protocol, I've given you the story in my previous video. In Citibank, there were 120, I think 128 salespeople, out of which 120 were all females. The rest were males. I was one of them. Great days, those days. They employed 2 Emiratis. They didn't even last more than, one guy lasted just a few days and he left. The other guy was given a separate cabin. He used to put his legs up and bare feet, and he used to care a damn about the manager and nothing. He worked for 1-2 months. He used to always at the meeting say, I will achieve the highest and this, and he never bought a single customer. Not one. But they couldn't do anything. And they didn't continue. So how can you keep these people? So then in the end, if you don't have a guy, you have to pay a fine. Yeah, see in Oman what they're doing, they get these these Omani locals, who, ladies or anyone, no education at all. They only know their local language. They just tell them, we'll pay you money, sign these documents, whatever. You sit at home. No need to come. I'll pay you a monthly salary. So they're very happy. This is the only solution left. They'll get somebody, some Emirati, who's not doing anything, sitting at home. They'll pay him some salary. But then the problem occurs when this guy sits at home and at the same time he applies for another job. Then that is where the problem takes place. If he's ready to take his salary, sit at home and do nothing but play video games or watch YouTube, then that can be a solution. But this goal that they have, that they want to make sure that it's becoming mandatory, it's not possible there. It's not going to work. This Emiratization, Saudiization, Omanization, Kuwaitization, all the zations, it's a very simple thing. You can't put fire, you can't put desire, you can't put drive into a human being. It has to come from within. And the ones who have it within themselves have big goals. Nobody wants to work in small. Even when I started my career, you think I wanted to work for Ramu Shamu company? No, I didn't want to work for a small-time company. I wanted multinational. So that's what it is. Anyway, you can let me know your views. Do you think this mandatory Emiratization thing is going to work? What about these fines that they're giving? Because for me personally, I look at it as they'll just, when they can't do anything, they will pay fines. But if it is just limited to just paying fines and getting away with it, they'll be more than happy. The problem is they will take the fines, and then when they want to go for visa renewal, they'll make it another bigger issue. I know this because I speak to a lot of employers who tell me the reality of how it is to run a business there. Not easy. Don't think it's hunky-dory. Anyway, these are my views. Let me know what are yours. Good, bad, ugly. It's me signing off. You guys take care.